visuals and all, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Superhero Wednesday, the day of the week where we like to get downright down nerdy. For that, what you will, we like to talk cool, weird, beautiful, nerdy shit on this channel, and specifically on a Wednesday, but sometimes I upload these on a Tuesday night, depends on my back shift and whatnot or what I'm doing. Quite often they get uploaded early, but usually on a Wednesday, we like to do Lego flexes, unboxing. We don't really unbox on Superhero Wednesday. Comic book shit, Funko Pops, Lego builds. We like to do all the cool, beautiful, nerdy shit. But this week, I want to honour the actors who have graced our screens with beautiful performances in some franchises and as some characters that we truly love and adore. Because I've butchered the fuck out of this intro, what I'm trying to say is I want to honour the actors that have graced the big screen, portraying some characters that we, us as fans, absolutely love. Determine who is the most born to play actor character there has ever been. You know what I mean? Which actor was born to play that comic book role? Should have said that at the start, because even though I've only got a list of 10, this was a friggin' excruciating list to do. There is some big actors that I've missed out here and some huge characters that you could mumble and jumble this list up. This would never be a settled debate either. It would always be opinion. And to be fair, this is my own list. I could easily see me chopping and changing this in a week or two's time. But the idea for this list come from a couple of weeks back when we were watching Deadpool and Wolverine, and just being able to get another go around of realizing and remembering how fantastic and beautiful Hugh Jackman is as Wolverine, and how fantastic Ryan Reynolds is as Deadpool. And I just thought, you know what, we should actually do a list of which actors were born to play that said role. And yeah, you're going to have to either correct me, school me in the comments below. Dan, you should have had that. Dan, that they're better. And Dan, this should have been. Because I don't think we're ever going to get a right answer. It's always going to be opinion. But this could be a super fun conversation to have. Let me know in the comments below and visuals. Here we go. My 10 top actors that were born to play their comic book roles. I need a better way to title this. Off at number 10, we have Sir Ian McKellen as Magneto. Magneto is a fucking unbelievably iconic, amazing, just wonderful character, whether he's good, bad, however it is you perceive him, Brotherhood, doing shit with the X-Men, whatever he's doing. He's a very, 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 I don't want to say complicated, but a character with quite a bit of depth and quite a bit of trauma and quite a bit of backstory. Now, Michael Fassbender did a phenomenal job of playing him, but seeing, obviously the way Sir Ian acts, and bringing out that past trauma and bringing it to the forte and how he performs and delivers lines and how his presence on screen is. I feel like he was so perfect for the role of Magneto, and he did it so much, a great service and great justice. I thought he was phenomenal. Slightly beating him, it is Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. Now, I don't know, right, Patrick Stewart is a phenomenal actor, and as well, with this, I'm not saying actors are better than other actors, it's just, in this particular list, I've put them above them because of the, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. Patrick Stewart, him and Sir Ian go hand in hand for me. They are, and obviously they're a real life friendship and all that kind of stuff. They're an amazing team. They're great as these two iconic duos, sometimes together, sometimes head to head, sometimes, you know, whatever, on two different sides of the same argument, but trying to kind of still want to come up with the same outcome to a certain degree, I guess. Well, no, Magneto's not bothered about the humans if they go, whereas Charles wants peace for everybody, so not the same argument and whatnot. But Patrick Stewart was absolutely phenomenal as Charles Xavier. I think the best run we had of him as Charles Xavier was probably in Logan as well. He was so emotionally moving in Logan as well. Obviously, he seemed a bit scared and whatnot, and sort of coming to the end of it all, and obviously how it ended and stuff. It was absolutely heartbreaking and gut-wrenching and stuff, and he just brought so much love and passion and showed the compassionate side of Charles Xavier, but as well as the father figure and the want to help and the want to love and the want to try and do good for people, even people that might not seem like, you know, different mutants that might seem a bit too far gone, still trying to want to help them and do the best for them that he possibly can. Patrick Stewart was a beautiful choice for Charles Xavier. Cavill as Superman. Superman being a comic character I do not really give a shit about. I do not have any real love and care for. Respect for what he's done in the world of comics and who he is as a comic character, but there's a couple of superheroes that I don't like, and he's one of them. And Superman should be a certain way and a certain look, and Henry Cavill tick that box in so many ways. Again, going down the different backstory routes. Well, you can argue and debate the films he was in, whether you're a fan of Man of Steel or the Justice League, the Zack Snyder's Justice League, or BVS and stuff. You can argue and say it was hit and miss the films, but his performances were absolutely outstanding. They definitely made me like Superman a little bit more. When I saw him don the cape and the S and whatnot, it just seemed symbiotic, and they were not born, but like, you know, they were made for each other. I thought he did such a great job, not just physically looking at him, but really bracing and harness who Kal-El is and who Superman is and what he stands for and what he honors. And then the time that he did go a little bit offhand and rogue, like we have seen Superman do in the past, you know, with the Batman stuff, you won't let me live, you won't let me die. I just think he absolutely nailed it. And I think it was well, I know they were going to, you know, soft reboot / mega reboot the DCEU to the DCU, so they probably did need to change actors, but I really think they should have tried to keep hold of him. He just did a fucking stellar job for me. Jackson as Nick Fury. I don't even know if I need to go on too much on this one. What you want to get from Nick Fury, the attitude, the badass, he's just a regular bloke up against these godlike characters, but he still kind of stands out with them and stands amongst them. All of his little tricks and all this stuff and his motherfuckers and all this kind of shit. Sam Jackson really grabs that role and just makes it. It's two in the same, especially when you have the whole look of him, when you see the eye patch and the jacket and whatnot on. Stuff like, I know Secret Invasion was very much missed for a lot of people. Fucking loved him in it. I know the way he's been perceived lately hasn't been prime or ideal Nick Fury like in the Marvels. I still personally enjoyed it, but when it was appearing in Iron Man or showing up in Avengers Assemble to make the team and shit, it's Winter Soldier, I just thought Sam Jackson is absolutely killing it and nailing it. And Nick Fury, a character I've always liked, but not really been massively invested in. And then Sam Jackson took the role, and my stock for the character of Nick Fury completely rose. Sam Jackson for Nick Fury was a beautiful choice. Reynolds, Deadpool, kind of just like Nick Fury. I don't know how much I need to ramble on about this. Ryan Reynolds just gets the comedy, just gets the look, just gets the tone, just gets the emotional times when it needs to be, just gets the humour of who Wade Wilson is, of who Deadpool is. Plus, in a weird way, if you go back and look at the Deadpool comics with mask off, he does, to me anyway, I don't know if it's because we've now seen Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool and it kind of just looks it. He's always had like a Ryan Reynolds look about him. It just feels like it was a silly, goofy, over-the-top role that even before it was considered being a film that Ryan Reynolds was always destined to play. We've seen Ryan Reynolds be serious, we've seen him be romantic, we've seen him be goofy and silly, over-the-top. And he just fits the mould of Wade Wilson and Deadpool so perfectly. I had fucking trouble pronouncing his name, so hopefully I don't do it wrong. But Shameik Moore, the voice of Miles Morales. Whenever I think, see, hear, whatever, Miles Morales, the iconic and beautiful voice performance of Shameik comes straight through. When I look at Miles, I hear that voice. That Miles to me is Miles' voice forever. I know he probably won't be in live action when we eventually get that. I don't think he doesn't voice him in the games either, does he? But he does such a great job at being Miles from... I always love when voice actors can somehow still, just with their voice, draw on your emotion, make you chuckle, really give you a want to invest and will and get behind this character. I mean, he's half the reason, if not 3/4 of the reason, as to why this particular Miles has took over the world. There's so many kids out there now that have their main Spider-Man as Miles Morales, and that's fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong, I know I'm a Peter Parker guy just because of the age and, you know, the year I was born and all that kind of stuff. But Miles Morales is fucking up there, and he is one of the most quickest superhero characters to ever take over mainstream. People love Miles Morales, and for me, he is Miles Morales. Absolutely, I've said it on everyone, I'm sorry, but beautiful casting. Holland, yep, I can't help it. You could argue, Dan, you're being biased because you love Tom Holland, because you love Spider-Man and whatnot. But let's break it down. Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire have always been fantastic Spider-Mans. We have never, ever, ever had, in my opinion, a bad Spider-Man or a bad Peter Parker. Yes, you could say they were better at that. Yes, you could say Tobey Maguire's stuff was goofy and corny. Years and years and years ago, before the new wave of love for Andrew Garfield that come in, I was sticking up, it might have been like 5 years ago, I did a video still saying how much I loved Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. But when Tom Holland come along, Jesus Christ, the game changed for me. He embodied and just envisioned and was everything I wanted Peter Parker and Spider-Man to be. He gets everything so spot on. I think he's a phenomenal actor. I think he's got an amazing future ahead of him. Even when he's done and he's hung up the web shooters and stuff, he has got everything I want in my Peter Parker / Spider-Man. Tom Holland is a godsend for the role of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Heath Ledger, the Joker. I definitely don't need to say much about this. I definitely don't need to say too much in detail. I will say, I don't think when the film came out, I was as mad into movies and actors and how they make films and shit, because I would have only been about, I want to say I was like 12 or some shit when this film came out. I can't remember. I could be slightly, maybe I'm remembering it wrong. But anyway, I definitely wasn't on one of these people being like, yes, Heath Ledger, beautiful, best choice out. Even I could have saw that coming. Took me by surprise. I remember loads of people saying, Heath Ledger for the Joker, that's going to be a bit of a weird type up. But Jesus Christ, did he shut the entire world up, didn't he? That's why I don't think I need to ramble on it. We all know how epic and beautiful that performance is and how just, wow, what a combination this is. So I don't need to say much more about Heath Ledger's Joker. It is perfection. Just coming in and just slightly falling short, it's Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. So you can probably guess who number one's going to be, but I won't use... Oh, have I got... I have got the thumbnail stuff set up. I don't think I've used it. Anyway. What the fuck? Anyway, yeah, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Boy, oh boy, did Hugh Jackman just understand the role of Logan and Wolverine. And it was a complicated start as well. It wasn't a plain sailing route for Hugh Jackman to become Wolverine. Like Russell Crowe turned it down, then they had somebody else. Russell Crowe suggested Hugh Jackman, and eventually he got into it. And from movie to movie to movie, I know some of the X-Men films have been up and down and hit and miss. He's always been a solid. He's always been a standout. From the last moments in Logan, the last little berserker age, that scream, the stance, the bub, the line deliveries, the look, the way he smokes a cigar, he's just absolutely stupidly, amazingly perfect for the role of Logan and Wolverine, and he still doesn't miss a beat in Deadpool and Wolverine. He has still got it. He is still the Wolverine. He is still our Wolverine. I don't know what they're going to do with him going forward, but in no time, anytime soon, should they even consider recasting when he's still kicking about. Depending how many more Hugh Jackman wants to do, they shouldn't recast until he's ready to hang up the claws. He is perfect. Number one, it is Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man. Now, I know it's not to the same level and extreme, but what makes Robert Downey Jr. perfect for Iron Man is the similarities that are between Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. Yes, you could argue Robert Downey Jr.'s were a bit more extreme, even though we saw Tony Stark go to some really dark places, some extreme places. But obviously there was, Robert Downey Jr. jail time and all that kind of stuff, and the way he was abusing drugs and shit. But turning his career around and becoming Robert Downey Jr., becoming Tony Stark and becoming Iron Man, of course, with the help of Kevin Feige and Jon Favreau. Well, Jon Favreau mainly, of course, he was the one that kickballed it all off. But to take this franchise that was gonna, the MCU, and hang its flag on the soft A, B list sort of group, not including the Hulk, of Marvel characters. Because let's be honest, Iron Man's never been a front and centre voice for Marvel Comics, especially in late 90s, early 2000s, unlike the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, the Spider-Mans. They were the key mantle holders, and the rest of it were just sort of, they were there, they were big, but just not as big. And then just skyrocket and making Iron Man one of the most important, most recognisable, one of the biggest characters in Marvel Comics is fucking breathtaking and outstanding. When you look at Tony Stark as well, just like I said with Wade Wilson and Ryan Reynolds and the connection there, a lot of variations and adaptations of Tony Stark just looked like Robert Downey Jr., but obviously Robert Downey Jr. didn't go around with the classic mustache and beard and stuff and facial hair. But as soon as you put it on, you'd be like, oh, you've literally stepped out the page. Robert Downey Jr. being the pillars that hold up the MCU, and the way that he made that role of Tony Stark so astronomically massive. Like, if you would have asked me 20 years ago, if we see Iron Man die on screen, how many people would care? I'd say not really that many. I don't think they would really ultimately care. But then we see it in Endgame, and Jesus Christ, it's fucking game-changing because of how important and pivotal Robert Downey Jr. was as Iron Man, as Tony Stark, to the MCU, to Marvel films, to superhero films. He was just, from the first look at the armor and boom, to all the way up into Endgame and stuff, Robert Downey Jr. just did never miss a beat, just like a lot of these others, to be fair, but he just did not miss a beat as Tony Stark and or Iron Man. Go visuals, my top 10 perfect comic book castings. That's what the title of the video should be, my favourite comic book castings of all time. All time. Like I said, there's so many Chris Evans, Captain America, phenomenal. Chris Hemsworth, Thor, phenomenal. I definitely love Mark Ruffalo as Thor. Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. T'Challa. I really wanted to put fuck me, I can't remember his name now. Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, but there was just too many that knocked it out of the park. Some of these obviously have a lot of longevity as well, which always helps because you can have somebody that's phenomenal, then maybe they drop off. Just not that it's Chadwick's fault, unfortunately, because God rest his soul, but I would love to have seen him more as Black Panther. I love Shuri as Black Panther, don't get us wrong. I really enjoyed Jane Foster. What the fuck's her real name? Natalie Portman. I love her as Jane Foster. Great casting. There's so many. Tom Hiddleston as Loki. There's so many that I wanted to put in. Batman's Christian Bale, Robert Pattinson. I love them as Batman, but there's just, it was such an annoyingly hard list to make. And like I said, I can see me changing my mind next week. It's not going to be a list that's stuck in stone. I can easily change. But anyway, let me know. Score me in the comments below, visuals. Tell me why I should have chose other people, why I should have chose certain people. And visuals, more importantly. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are literally the fucking best, bros. Keep being you and keep on web slinging on.